Hello, my name is Dan. Today I'm going to show you how to quickly change flat artwork into a vector format so that you can use it for screen printing or any other design application where you need clean colors and scalable options so that you could use it all the way up to a billboard size. Let's get started. First, you're going to drag your flat artwork, any image, logo, something like a JPEG, and you're going to place that into Illustrator either into an existing file or just drag it in as a new file itself. You can save it however you'd like from there. Next, we're going to select the object that we want to transform. Next, we are going to go to our image tracing options. Here we're going to leave it in black and white right now. You could use the color option if you want to attempt that, and we'll do that in a different video. But for now, let's leave it black and white. Next, we're going to look at our threshold. This is what we're going to be adjusting to achieve the design that we want. It's going to essentially say this is what we want to see and this is what we don't want to see in the image. Paths is going to decide how elaborate it's going to be, how many different points it's going to place on your path for your vector object. We're going to go ahead and leave this alone for now, but typically we want to turn this up pretty high. As for corners, it's going to decide on really sharp objects, how many corners there are. For example, the things that you'll see affected would be this soccer ball where you see these hard points. We'll take a look at that more in depth in a moment here. Finally, we're going to take a look at our noise. Generally speaking, I turn this down to 3 to 5. In this case, we might look at it and adjust it and see what kind of differences we get. Finally, you're going to want to look at ignore white is the next option you need to pay attention to. This option basically says, do you want white objects like this game on text to be knocked out so that you will see whatever is behind it through it? Or do you want that white to be preserved so that you can actually change that color so that it's a selectable object and part of the vector? We'll go ahead and leave that as ignore white. We're going to turn it on because we want that knocked out for this one. That's typically what I use. It's generally what you're going to want to use whenever you're doing something like for a t-shirt design because that's something you'd want to add in later anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is select this. We're going to turn our threshold up a little bit. I typically start on the high end and adjust down. We might see ourselves go all the way back down towards the bottom and come up. For paths, we're going to knock this all the way up to nearly maximum. I never go all the way up just because preference, I suppose. We can adjust that and see if we need to later. It should be fine though. Noise, I've already got that set to 3. You can go ahead and push that up if you want. I like to start at 3 to 5. We've got ignore white checked. It's off by default. Go ahead and click that. And then once we're ready to see what it looks like, we hit preview. And now we're going to see here the basketball, volleyball, and soccer ball have all become totally black. In this case, you might want that. That actually might be exactly what you need. And in another video, we'll explore how to layer multiple versions of this on to get really crisp, solid lines, especially in extremely complicated and detailed images. For now, let's go ahead and get a simple, quick, easy vector illustration here. We're going to go ahead and turn that way down, and now you can see there's far more white on the screen. You're seeing behind the image. And this is actually looking really good right here. So we're going to remember that it's at 68, and if we need to change it back to exactly that, we just click that and type in the number. Let's turn it down a little bit, and you can see everything disappears. Go ahead and adjust it up until we see what we want to see. And you can see once we go past 80, 90, it starts to really fill in. How thick you want your lines is really up to you. I think I'm personally really liking it closer to the thinner option. It keeps our lines a little bit more crisp. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn our corners up a little bit here. It's making very minor detail changes in the hard edges on the soccer ball, and that's about it. So we're going to leave that pretty high in paths, I'm sorry. And then in noise, we can turn that up and you can see here right here, there was a TM, and that TM shows up. So we're going to go ahead and turn that noise setting halfway up, just a little over halfway, so that the parts we don't want there disappear. And I'm pretty happy with how this looks, so we're going to be done with it, and we're going to go ahead and hit expand. Now we've got our vector image. You can select pieces, parts, isolate, and change colors from here. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and have a great day.